podcast because I haven't figured out how to upload podcasts. Series where we talk about your favorite characters and why you love them. Today's character, Dizzy Kiske, the one and only half heaven, half hell, angel, demon, OC extraordinaire. I'm your host, D. Hello. I'm here with my co-host, Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hello.
And we are back. We're back in plus R because it's more fun, I guess. And we're here with Melly again. Hi, Melly.
Hi, I'm Melly. I draw a lot, and I've been on 3 other episodes of this podcast before, and I love Dizzy. She's wonderful. She's amazing.
Next up, we have Sickman. Hi, Sickman.
Hi, hello. This is my first time here, though probably not the last. Occasionally I draw, but I mostly just kind of rant about random stuff that I enjoy, and recently I've started pissing off Mortal Kombat fans as a hobby.
Literally me too. It's as easy as breathing, you know?
We love a little bit of hating.
Next up, we have Lucy. Hi, Lucy.
Hello. This is my first time here. I'm happy to be here. I play a lot of fighting games, and a lot of times I just troll. Like in Plus R, I just troll in this game. It's funny.
I can't lie. I thought I was the regular palette Dizzy this whole time.
Oh my gosh.
I was actually the pink Dizzy. Shows me my expertise with this game. And last but not least, we have Borg. Hi, Borg.
Hello. This is my first time on this podcast. I like to draw a lot, and I like to draw a lot of Dizzies. She's my gorgeous,
I love
gorgeous
your Dizzy
girl.
art.
The creator of the Dizzy Garden tag, too.
That too, though I need to get on it. I always forget to include it whenever I post.
So now, the big question, the reason why you're all here, why do you guys like Dizzy? Or what stood out to her about you? What stood out first for you guys to be like, this is it?
She's an ethereal, magical girl, forest princess. She can talk to animals, and she's a weapon of destruction. Like, she's just fucking awesome. I don't know.
Dizzy was a character I actually was not super crazy about, but only recently did it finally clicked for me, and I just got the appeal. And it's that, like, she looks like she would be the cover on every single 2000s meme where it's like, I'm half a demon, but my mom is an angel. And
Yes,
like,
yes.
and she'd be like posing up with like some angels and like fire, and it's like, yeah, you know what? I fuck with that.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is the most girly thing possible.
It's played completely straight and earnestly, and it's actually so cool for that.
I'm normally not into that type of character where it's like, oh, I'm just a cutesy little bean, but I can actually nuke a continent if I tried to.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, something about Dizzy.
Angel brain and one demon brain.
I just noticed that in her
reason-
intro for Plus R, she's got like a glammed out like purse. Like she has like little beads and stuff on it. That's so cute.
It's a basket, I think, full of bread.
She's the breadwinning wife.
Absolutely. I think like seeing her progression from like intimidating boss character to then like turns the main character into like a wife guy is such an incredible thing for her too.
So my introduction to Dizzy was actually her theme song in Guilty Gear X specifically. The Guilty Gear X version of her theme, and I think to this day it's still one of my favorite Guilty Gear songs.
I think like the little choir at the start does so much to sell the like impact of like, this is the most dangerous thing you'll ever find, and it's like ethereal and you will not understand it, and then all of a sudden you just get hit by like really, really clean sounding metal, and I really like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's I was thinking about it earlier today, but it mirrors Justice's theme like really well in that Justice's theme, it also has that sort of like build up with like the like orchestra and like the chorus, and then it just gets right into it, and it's like, but Justice's theme where it's like more like frantic and like just it sounds dangerous, like it's like, oh, this is for sure, like this is the strongest monster, there's like history here. It's like Dizzy, it's like hers is a lot more like sorrowful of a song. It's a lot.
Melancholic.
Yeah, and like
that her theme name was based off of Dizzy's until based off of Justice's until you said it, but it makes complete sense, obviously.
I'm not sure it's based off of directly, but it is. There's just like similarities that I noticed, and like Justice's song as it goes on, it you know, it has more like melancholy moments, whereas I sort of interpret that as like her memories are sort of like peeking through, but it's like most of all she's like angry and she's pissed off, whereas like with Dizzy it's like she doesn't want to fight, she doesn't like to be a weapon.
Yeah, if you think about it, it's very interesting because Dizzy's theme also gets mirrored in Sin's theme in Strive, in the solo.
Also with Ky's theme, it's like they merge together and it sounds so good.
And specifically in each ear. Like left ear is Ky's theme and right ear is Dizzy's theme.
Yes, it's so good.
Melly and Borg, I really wanted to bring up, you two are super big Dizzy artists. Melly, I know you also do things outside of Dizzy, but I think you do a lot with Dizzy.
Sorry, that was my alarm.
Your alarm is perfectly on brand for you.
My boing boing alarm.
Oh my god.
But I really wanted to point out that, Melly, you highlight a lot more of like the metal and like monstrous aspects of Dizzy. Meanwhile, Borg, you do a lot more of like the ethereal and like kind of like mystical angel aspects of her. And I think it's so cool that Dizzy as a character allows you to both express her in different ways. Like, that's so cool. Do you guys have anything to say about how you portray Dizzy like in your art?
So for my like redesign of Dizzy, my original idea was like I want her to like look kind of raggedy and scared because, you know, she's living in the forest. She was thrust out of her home, and you know, she's a monster. But it's like she has these. She doesn't want to be a monster. She wants to be accepted by society. So it's like, and I kind of miss a lot of the aspects from +R that they took away in XR. Just like a lot of her moves are just a lot less scary. It's like you don't have her arm transforming into like a big grotesque monster with like nails through it, or like you don't have her fingernails turning like super long claws. And it's like you still have some of it, but it's definitely a lot less.
I think I'll go more into that aspect. Did you just IK me?
No, that's not IK.
Oh, that's just a super?
Yeah, that's just a super.
Yeah.
Okay,
Dizzy's instant kill, it's like it takes forever to set up, and it's like it's a weird input, and it's like really slow too. But she like transforms into her full gear form, and it's really cool. I love it.
James Crofts did a video. James Crofts did a video where he was like going over weird inputs, and I know Dizzy's IK was in it.
Really? Oh, because
you basically have to do it during your con.
Is it that hers like transforms her like into a vague figure of justice, and then like that's about it, or I'm trying to. I vaguely remember seeing that video, but I can't remember what it was at all. And not like
it's not like justice, but
I think it's like her monster form.
Yeah, it is like a big silhouette, and you don't really get a good look at it, but it's. Like I said, it's kind of vaguely justice shaped, but not exactly. But
whenever I draw my Dizzy, I guess like you said, I sort of focus on the ethereal aspects. But I feel like there's a lot of elegance to her character.
Yes.
As well, like it's sort of mixed with the monstrous aspects, which I think is really neat.
I noticed
it's sort
a
of
lot
like
with your art that you focus a lot more on like cooler, like less like. You do saturated colors, but it's always with a cooler tone. Like, you have your browns and greens and blues. And I think it's really cool, like, highlighting, like... I get, like, the sense that she's got, like, this earthy sense to her constantly in your art, even when she's being, like, portrayed as, like, a human, which is really cool.
Yeah,
sorry if that didn't make a lot of sense.
No, I get exactly what you mean. And it's also, like... I forget who mentioned it earlier in the chat, but it's like she's like a deer, you know, like she's like a little forest creature who, like, she's maybe a little scared, but like she's also beautiful, and elegant, and
more scared of you than you are of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like yes.
But when I try to portray her, I also try to include some of her more monstrous attributes. Like, I like making her really
like the
tall.
Ears.
Yeah, I like giving her the pointy ears and the serpent eyes. And I'm trying to like elongate her limbs.
Making Dizzy look not she was a real person, maybe she'd even have things like a slitted eye or something. Or sorry, slitted pupil.
Yeah, I love when Daisuke draws Sol with a slit pupil. It's always so cool. So it's like, it always makes me really happy when people draw Dizzy with one too.
I mean, if you know me, you know I like that.
Yes!
It's sort of like I'm trying to just hint at that sort of more monstrous side to her, even though I focus on the more of like the ethereal forest nymph type of thing.
There's a lot of like subtlety to your art that I really enjoy.
Thank you.
You know, I think I probably should have done this at the start, but I think I was just so excited to get into it. But maybe I should provide like a little basis of who Dizzy is before going more into the more detailed aspects of her. But Dizzy is, of course, a set-play, fucked-up Okizeme zoner who controls the screen and also has really big normals, and is the daughter of Justice and Sol. And it's interesting seeing how both her parents reflect in who she is, where she's got, like, the danger and standoffness of Sol, but in a positive light, where it's like, please get away from me, I want to protect you, which is, like, also kind of what Sol does with his gear self.
I absolutely think that there is something to specifically Sol and Justice, but not just them, but also Testament. I might talk about it later, I might talk about it now, but it's... I like to consider her the innocent gear, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If you look at Missing Link's roster, you have 3 gears. You have Testament, Justice, and Sol, who are all carrying some kind of guilt. Like, Sol is the guilty gear, but in a way, so are Justice and Testament. And all 3 of those characters end up changing through Dizzy. Because Dizzy is Justice's legacy. She is also, you know, Sol's daughter. And meeting her is what gets Testament to sort of go on this journey of self-reflection.
I think so much of her character design is also informed by how Testament looks, or I guess it's probably the opposite. Like, Dizzy was made in reference to Testament. Like, I think post Guilty Gear 1, Daisuke was like, okay, I've got Testament, I don't know what to do with them now. Let me figure something out. And what he ended up deciding was, oh, what if she was something that Testament had to protect now? Like, if Testament was so devoted to her mother and this big deadly thing, what if, like, they were now protecting something rather than, like, feverishly devoting themselves to it? Which is crazy, because then, like, this gets highlighted as a weakness for Testament later on, too, where it's like, hey, Testament was so feverishly devoted to protecting Dizzy that they almost stifled Dizzy's growth and didn't let her, like, leave the grove. Which, it makes for a fun characterization for Testament, I think. And, like, the fact that Testament has 0 colors going on outside of black, white, and red, compared to Dizzy's, like, cool, calm blue, the yellow, the also black and white, like, her wings, and, the fire, like, I think was probably intentional and cool.
Yeah, I think Daisuke on Dizzy's design did mention, and quite overtly because it carries perfectly, that like duality was the central thematic that he was specifically like trying to achieve contrast between Shinigami and Goddess. And I think that that's communicated, like, obviously very well through Necro and Undyne, but also just from the way that she's drawn and the way that she conducts herself. So yeah, just to build that up.
Oh yeah, I really love the duality of Dizzy.
Yeah.
Because even like with her design being like more provocative and all that, it's sort of like it gives a character who would very normally be very soft and very gentle, like a lot of edge.
Yeah.
So it sort of portrays that, like, those 2 sides of her, and maybe even if she doesn't like that outfit, I feel like there's been some voice lines where she mentions that. It's sort of like she's being forced to fight, and she doesn't want to, and she doesn't want this side of her, but it's still it's something she must do.
Her wing quote in the mirror match in Exert is like, "I don't think that outfit suits you."
Yeah.
Because that's like her battle outfit, and it's like,
If I can say
So
something
it's interesting how it doesn't represent her personality in a way, but it sort of does. But like it doesn't represent that
me,
soft,
like,
motherly side.
It's like the antithesis.
I think her dress works there much better.
I feel like
Although
there's
it is
one...
interesting.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think there's one thing about Dizzy that like you could see and immediately tell like exactly what kind of character she is just by looking at this one like 20-second long cutscene, and it's her IK in Exit.
Yes.
Like the fact you can see her, like first of all, like the IK starts off with Necro unveiling like this giant nuclear level power orb, and then all of a sudden like she's freaking out, she has fear in her eyes, and this is weird for a character that is summoning such power to be overwhelmed by it herself, that then she falls over to the side and pushes it over, all the while her more caring sign, Undyed, is like coddling her and holding her. Like, I think that's just the entirety of Dizzy. And then, like, of course, the way it ends where she apologizes for this, even though for most fighters, especially in a fighting game, they'd be like, yeah, I just did that.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, it shouldn't have had to come to this.
Yeah.
KOF has the famous "you should kill yourself now" in quotes.
Yeah. Hey,
one
dude, lighten up. This is
quote that's
KOF.
like, God, you're such a freak, die.
No, it's like,
Oh my God,
you're weak, creepy, and pesky. Consider euthanasia. That's what the quote is.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
But yeah, no, I think in so much of Dizzy, especially in her earlier portrayals, you have that reference to the fact that she is so hesitant to be in combat at all. And I noticed this when I was like running through her wiki, but I think it's even listed in the trivia section, the fact that in XX all of her moves aren't named like cool attacks. It's just like whatever the real world function of them is. So like I use this
They're all like whole sentences.
Yeah.
And like it expands on that in XR, which is like because it doubles the amount of move names she has, because there's one for Necro and Undyne for each kind of move now. And so it's like we used to talk a lot, we used to fight a lot, and for like the fish, and then like I use this to cook fish, and it's like, or no, I use this to catch fish as the ice spike, and then for searing cod is for the fire pillar, and then it's like.
You say that, and it's like, I have never seen someone use the utility. Word for it. I guess the medium of video game fighting moves to tell a self-contained story in itself.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it almost reads as a short story or a poem, and like the fact that you go through the entire thing and you feel like nostalgia. I think it's so pretty. Like that's so cool. I want to say I want more fighting games to do that, but I kind of don't also, because it makes it hard for it to say what her moves are. Like, I know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure had a huge problem with this, where every move like, name is a name of a quote the character did in the show, and it's like absolutely impossible to say what they are doing.
Yeah, like in Dragon Ball FighterZ, Frieza has a move titled "You Might Not Survive This Time."
No, Fighters has a lot of great
and
moves
Vegeta
like that.
has one that's on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yep, one
I'll give you a 3.
Interestingly enough, I feel like those like titles and descriptions, like I use this to fish and all that, it does kind of explain why she's good in a fight. Like she is experienced with using her tools.
Yeah. Another great representation of that duality, though, where it's like she's not, like she doesn't want to use them for violence. She's this person that's been cursed with the legacy and like, you know, the circumstances of her birth making her a living weapon, but she wants nothing more than to just be a happy and relaxed person. And I think that that's just so genius that they communicate that through her moves. I also just wanted to mention one in particular. I really, really like that one of them is called My Talking Buddies.
Yes, My Talking Buddies.
Yeah.
In XR, that one was renamed to just be like, we talked a lot.
Yeah.
And then like and
I think it goes along with another one, right?
Yeah, which was like we used to fight a lot.
My favorite is please leave me alone. What happens when I'm too alone?
Yeah, it really hits on the essence of her character.
It's tragic.
Yeah.
In a way.
Who is this conversation towards? Is this towards Ky? Is this towards herself, like looking in a mirror, like saying this, or?
I would assume it's probably like a diary or something like that.
I'd say it's probably towards her opponent. Like she says, like, please stay away from me, or like, please leave me alone, because she's afraid of the power and destruction she might bring, but also at the same time she desires a human connection.
Yeah.
Because like she was ostracized from her birthplace, so it's sort of the tragedy of her character where she doesn't want to get close to people, but it's also like her heart's biggest desire. It's why I think starting a family was like the biggest moment in her life. Like she finally found a place where she could she would have people close to her and like she would know that they are safe.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, but they accepted her openly for who she was, because I think, you know, you also hit a little bit on an essential component of her backstory, and that's like the horror illusions. And I feel like I bring this up like with almost every other character, but it just feels very persistent with the way that Daisuke likes to make these kinds of characters, of like that kind of Frankenstein influence of her being driven out of the village because everyone sees her as some kind of destructive monster when she's just like completely gentle and was only born this way, only to make friends with a blind girl. She's just a girl, but yeah, only to make friends with a blind girl who is unable to judge her for her appearance, and then comes to understand her as a person and realize, oh wait, this is just a girl, just like me, and then who would later go on to become disgusted with her because of societal pressures, because she sees her and she's like, oh my goodness, what a terrifying thing, like, you know, only to later come back around and be like, oh well, I knew her as a person, so the superficiality of whatever her appearance should dictate shouldn't matter. And I feel like, you know, it's just a microcosm of her broader story, right? That she has all these outside influences, the legacy of Justice, of Sol, of Aria, of even Testament, right, trying to pull her in all these different directions, the fear of society, but more than anything, she just wants to be her own person who can find her own love.
Oh my god, no wonder I like her so much. She's basically Kaiser from League.
yeah, I know.
Oh my god, wait, you're so real, yeah!
I'm waiting for the
including
match
the
screen.
part with the father that tries to kill her.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't really try to kill her, you know, because Sol does.
Yeah,
go easy on her.
he's like, all right, whatever. Also, I was gonna say, like, actually, like in Sol's path, like he has like a flashback to Justice, and it's like you fight Justice, and he's like, yeah, there's no doubt about it. This is definitely the same thing. It's that same feeling from back then. And then it's like you fight Justice, and then you fight her again. And depending on how the fight goes, there can be like several different outcomes where like one, it ends up where it's like Sol goes like dragon install and like he goes like all out and still ends up like dying.
Really?
Or at least I think it's like implied that he dies, but like the story ends on a picture of him being like, not bad, when he's like skewered in like ice spikes and like he's like
Oh, that's
like
bugger.
I have never done any
To think
Dark
that this
Age
would
of the
happen to
older
me.
games, and I really feel like I should, because there's always so much like fun, juicy stuff in there every time I do.
I
also,
almost
her one quote against herself in this game is, I hear it causes political problems if I'm alive.
Yes. Okay,
Yes!
I had that one written down. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I like that one that's crazy. That's
It's
so
so-
crazy.
It's so like...
She really is a trans girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
That's, see, yes.
I remember
yes,
when I
yes.
when I first got into this game and I picked Dizzy and I was trying to beat arcade mode and Eno kept kicking my ass, so I kept seeing Eno's win quote, which is like, I wonder what those wings taste like.
Yeah. Just like, how about I pluck those wings off of you and fry them up? And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
This weirdo. But yeah.
Honestly, a lot of Eno's win quotes are just kind of like that, though.
Good
Yeah.
for her! Good for her!
Like, her boss win quote against Justice is like, yeah, you fucking piece of scrap, I'm gonna tear you open and scoop out your insides. And it's
Why
like,
she keep
dude,
She's a
trying
little
to eat
freak
people?
like that.
But yeah, no, it's really kind of crazy how with that one quote, you kind of get exposed to Dizzy's innocence and like just the tragedy for character all at once, right? Because you have that notion of otherness that's also really super resonant with how she's portrayed, right? For circumstances outside of her control, she's hunted by the government, she's branded a monster despite her literal only wish in the world to be happy and peaceful and to live a normal life, but you know, kind of mirroring the way in real life that everything about, like, you know, a lot of minorities' lives just wind up becoming politicized. She has that quote that, yeah, it causes political problems if I'm alive. So, like, really kind of scathing and like, on point from Daisuke about what dogmatism does to innocent people, and especially relevant to Dizzy's struggle with violence and her need to protect herself to survive. But I think more than anything, it's also a testament to like her innocence and her selflessness, that her first thought when that occurs to her is that she'd rather not cause anybody problems, which is like hugely maladaptive. You know, it forces, like, just like how society really does this to people, that it forces you into this dichotomy that serves the oppressive systems, when it makes you think your options are either like, okay, I'll become the monster that they say that I am by lashing out and defending myself, or I'll try not to be a nuisance, like as if you ever were to begin with, which is like so crazy and nasty, but also like really cool from Daisuke.
I kind of liked Dizzy before like realizing that part of her that you mentioned about politicized minorities, because I did notice that, but like after noticing it, I started relating to her a lot more. She became one of my favorites because I'm a minority in like multiple ways, right? Like both national and all that, and so all my life I've kind of had to like walk and like look over my shoulder all the time, and I kind of started relating to Dizzy in that way, and she became one of my favorites in that regard.
Yeah, I think he really hits on the realness of like your lived experiences as a minority, and I think that that's super awesome.
I'm not gonna say that Dizzy is a communist or represents communism, though I do think that is a very valid reading of her as a character, but I will say a lot of her character is based around anti-conservatism, specifically in the sense that she's constantly portrayed as being ostracized by government, by whether this is in a microcosm of small villages, whether that's by large, where it's like she's specifically targeted for things that are completely out of her control. And the fact that when she first gets out and finally has an opportunity to leave and do something, the first thing she does is become a pirate, which is someone that operates out of law and just embodies freedom and things like that. I have both black friends and I have trans friends that tell me they see things in Dizzy, and I am not qualified enough to speak on the race angle of things, but I am qualified to speak on the gender angle of things, where it's like she does represent being othered by society. And I think the fact too that Dizzy is a woman, she is a girl, she has ribbons in her hair, she has her tits out. I know that sounds silly, but like everything about her is like, hey, I am a woman and I am proudly showing that. And
The thing
also,
about,
there
like-
are ugly there are ugly parts of me that you have to accept about me, and I won't live for anyone else other than myself. It is so empowering to see that, you know.
I think
Kind of
I think
building
the
off
best.
what you.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, building off what you said, it's like about like her outfit. Like, I never really saw it as like super sexualized, but like more as just like very vulnerable. Feeling. Like she doesn't. Like. And like what we were saying earlier, it's like she doesn't think it looks good on her. She doesn't like want to wear it. It's her battle outfit. She doesn't like to fight. Obviously, it's like she wouldn't. And it's just sort of like bearing her personality.
I will say though, I do like that her intro is usually her going from her usual clothes to her battle outfit. Because it goes from in XX she goes from, like in the X series she goes from her pirate outfit because she's essentially defending herself, right? But then in Exarch she goes from wearing her dress to wearing her battle outfit because she's essentially somebody. I think it was Bork who mentioned earlier that it sort of represents a kind of feminine maternal role. So she's essentially stepping out to protect her family when she does that.
Yeah. And to that. Oh, yep. Sorry, you had something.
One of my favorite parts about like her design, like you mentioned, she's like it represents the fact that like she is just a girl, is the fact that she has like a bow on her tail.
Yes.
Even this
The
part
tail
of her that,
being.
like, that
Sorry,
was... Yeah, you can go. Sorry.
So the fact that like the tail is probably the most like glaring thing about her, because it's not just like a normal kind of tail. It's a long black kind of like scaly tail, and it turns into a mouth in her attacks.
Yeah, it's freaky.
That's so cool.
And the fact that she has a very girly kind of bow on that of all things, I think that represents the fact. Oh, she's just a sweet little girl.
Yeah.
And her crouching animation in Exerd, where she like tightens it, is the cutest thing ever.
Absolutely.
I have a gift of that I just like loop.
It's so
Just like
good.
looking at it.
I love that she's so careful with how she presents herself too, where not even just these ribbons. The fact that with her little leg stocking socks that she's constantly just like, oh, gotta check that's up. Okay,
Just,
cool.
just
okay.
like just hiking it up a little bit.
Oh, no, my
The tightening the.
Is my hair
It's
nice?
so
Ooh,
good.
Okay. Whew, all right, ready to go. Oh wait, but did I check? And it's like she's constantly just checking over herself, and it's like she's very aware of the space that she's taking up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Cute.
I honestly feel like the ribbon on her tail is like super significant as well, because that's like another aspect of her romanticizing everything about herself. Like she's fully accepting who she is. It's not just that she is a girl and she's trying to repress like the aspects of herself that she inherited from being a daughter of justice and a daughter of soul. She's a girl, and that like that's still a part of her fundamentally, and she's not trying to ignore it in any way. That's just a part of her being a girl. Like that, she accepts and loves that so readily, and I think that that's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Can I mention something that I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking about when we were talking about her, like the tragedy of her character and wanting to stay away from people but desiring that closeness. I just remembered she is also like very fond of like forest critters and little animals, because if you think about it, that would have been her only contact with any other living beings.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like why I call her like a Disney princess sometimes.
Yeah,
'cause it's just like
I think she's made in respect with a lot of those Disney princess types too, and with magical girls, where it's like I guess the magical girl is the Japanese equivalent of the Disney princess, where it's like this is our idealized feminine hero, and I know that sounds, but the fact that Daisuke is making the choice to be like, hey, this super idolized like feminine form is monstrous as well, and she accepts this. She doesn't perfectly fit the mold of what that is. She has a tail. She has these wings. They transform into gross teeth. She like can't control any of it, and she's a nuke. But she
deserves to live.
She deserves to live.
She deserves
Yeah.
to live.
It's not only that, but even her intro animation is very much a magical girl reference, because she goes from like regular clothes to a skimpy battle outfit.
Yeah, I was talking about this
very,
with
like, magical girl.
with Bork when we were playing Xrd earlier today. It's literally like her intro in Xrd is like, you know, like she glows. It's like she's got like her fucking wings coming around her, like putting everything on. It's so perfect. She's
like Sailor Moon
beautiful.
transformation.
Yes,
That's
she's
what,
wonderful.
That's what sort of like drew me to her initially too, when I first played Xrd like years ago. It was just like she was just such a cute character, and I thought she looked so ethereal, and like it was like a magical girl. And then I picked her, and she had that intro, and it was just like it was love at first sight. And then I've never looked back. And then
Another thing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, super quick, but she wasn't always portrayed as the magical girl. Like in Guilty Gear X, she's portrayed more as like a quiet forest girl, and I guess like, and then with Xrd, as she's developing more of like her individuality and personality and not being afraid of who she is, she then becomes the magical girl version of herself, where it's like, oh, okay, this is something, like a costume she is putting on, this is something that, like, she is doing and feels powerful and cool with. I really like that they turned her, like, it feels very similar to Elfeld's transformation as a metal
Absolutely.
singer, where it's like, Elfeld was this wedding singer, was this, like, dangerous weapon, but then when she gained her own individuality, she became something completely new. She became the metal singer, and like now this is what she is. Dizzy is like a magical girl. Sorry, I'm stumbling over myself
Guilty
a little
Gear.
bit.
No, you're
Yeah,
like,
Guilty Gear is absolutely very good at like keeping a character's core the same, but like reinventing their motivation.
Yeah, just like develop.
People who don't play Guilty Gear would tell you otherwise, but we know the truth.
Because
How dare they
if you
change
think,
my
because it
Guilty
happens a
Gear?
lot of times. Like for example, with Ky, he was always sort of this protective knight type, and it went from him like protecting his race and his country to him protecting his family and the people who are close to him.
yes,
Like,
no,
it happens a lot in Guilty Gear.
your thread with D
They-
on
they
that
sort
the other
of
day was
keep
so
their-
cool.
Yeah. He's like characters sort of like keep who they are. They keep their entire. I don't want to say gimmick because gimmick sounds a bit rude, but it's
Shtick.
they sort of keep
identity.
they keep their identity, but their like motivation is completely different. They find a new outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that's one of the strengths of the vocal tracks in Strive, because like I think like every single vocal track in Strive keeps the core of the character and describes what they're all about. Like especially Ky. We were just talking about Ky, but I think Kai's theme in Strive like perfectly represents that idea as, oh yeah, I know that I might be seen as like different now because of the things I did, but all I really care about is just protecting the ones I love.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of vocal themes, this is just a little quirk I wanted to bring up. Her vocal X theme of all of
God.
She, besides being, it's not that good, but
It's not.
and the guy who
Being for
sings
real.
it is also on the Blaze Blue vocal tracks and is also the backing vocals of Love the Subhuman Self, Jason Miller. Very talented guy. I can
Jason Miller did the backing.
Hell yeah, I think. Pretty sure.
Wait, no, it was Jameson Boaz.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm completely wrong. But anyways, Jason Miller. Well, I definitely.
Yeah, because J.C. Miller does a lot of music for Final Fantasy XIV, so I'm like very well acquainted with his discography.
Mm.
Meanwhile, Jameson Boaz he voices one of the characters in DMC5, and then I was like, damn, where did I hear that name before? And it just so happens I was listening to Love the Subhuman Self, and I read it there.
Who is he in DMC5?
He was Cavalier Angelo.
Oh shit,
Oh.
that's really cool.
I forgot that guy talked.
Yeah,
real.
right. Like
Oh,
anybody
that
that
random jam is gone. Goodbye, random jam.
jammed him.
I
It
had
was
no idea
fun.
my room was even public, but
We need to give her the money. If she got a round off of you, we gotta give her the bounty money.
Yeah.
She's a
She
small
blew you 2
businesswoman.
million smithereens.
And then I wanted to like when you mentioned like the girl stuff and how the characters develop, I've made a few like redesigns and fan designs for her Strive and stuff. I really try to like keep that theme, and where like she's sort of developing, like she goes from something that's more metal, and the way that I always saw that old outfit was sort of restrictive, and and sort of like it's binding. It's inspired by like bondage in a way. And
a
then,
lot of Guilty Gear characters are inspired by bondage
Yep.
because I think it's a very big part of metal culture where you have the big
absolutely.
sexy ass woman on the cover, and because this is real ass hard music, and then
The first time,
It's
the
not
first
even
time my
that.
brother saw Sol Badguy, he was like, "That guy looks like a male stripper."
Yep.
I would argue it's not even that. I feel like it's very much the queer part of metal culture, because the most iconic sort of bondage representation in metal culture is Judas Priest and Rob Halford, who was a gay man.
Yeah.
cool.
Absolutely.
I wanted to like keep that aspects, but then when I redesigned her X-Art outfit, I tried to move it more towards lingerie, so it was sort of something more like she's embracing.
More
it.
like comfortable.
Yeah, it's something like
Yeah.
Not to say
I actually really like
Dizzy
that.
Dizzy would be like, I don't know, uncomfortable or anything. But I never finished it. But I made a sketch, and I wanted to be like really frilly and have ribbons and
That's
sort
awesome.
of keep that original silhouette.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then I made a Strive one as well. I try to like go more into
This
her
is
elegance.
so pretty. I gotta say right off the bat, I like this in base Dizzy as well, but I really like in your Dizzy how big and flowy her sleeves are. Like, and it's the fact that like it feels like the sleeves of her like shirt are dresses in themselves, and that she's just so proud of it. Like, oh, this is just big and free and flowing. Like, it makes me happy. I wish I could wear it.
Yeah. Like I wanted to sort of incorporate how like when they're animating her, they need to make like her monstrous things come out of her sleeves, and like so it gives them a lot of freedom to do that, and also just like it's open, it's flowy, it's less restrictive. Because I in the first redesign I did for her like X in the original design, I try to like keep it like belted off and restrictive, and then I made a Strive one. You guys get a little sneak peek.
Ooh.
Because I'm still working on it.
Oh, I love this so far. The colors are fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it
I
in
like the
style.
glasses. I like the glasses that sort of like take the area of like the bows.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
think the
sort of
colors you
wanted
chose
it
is
to be
great too.
like, she's more
Aha,
mature
Borch,
now.
the X Nation got this.
I
It
like.
makes me think like she's like very worldly and
Yes.
traveled. Like she just came back from a trip from Italy and she loved it.
Yeah, like
another
I want her to
character-
look like more of like an adult, and like she's sort of just like enjoying life now. Because I feel like if she were to develop like most Strive characters, it's sort of going to like that. She finds peace with her situation and is able to get what she's been fighting for all this time. I wanted
I
to
think-
sort of incorporate that.
I
She
think that's
definitely
very
got that at the
fitting.
end of Exerd.
I-
Because like in Exerd, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Like at the end of Exerd, she ends up sort of accepted by the people after they see her display of like defending the world, and she ends up being accepted by the people, and she ends up being proclaimed as a good queen for Ky and everything. I feel like that's one of the main reasons she wasn't in Strive, purely because like she has sort of found the thing she was seeking. She has found that fulfillment.
You think it's very similar to how Venom was then, where it's like Venom's story came to like a conclusive end where he's finally safe and happy, and you feel like Dizzy has already reached that safe and happy spot.
I was
The
gonna say
main difference is that I really want playable Dizzy in Strive.
It's not a matter of if she'll be in Strive, it's just when she'll be in Strive, and it's the fact
She's the next
that
character, trust me.
there's no way she's not gonna show up.
I was gonna say
yeah.
I was gonna say that whole idea of like, oh, she just got back from traveling and she's like seeing the world and accepting herself. I would say that's very fitting because it's basically exactly what happened with Testament.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like literally the exact same thing that Testament went through. I think it's very fitting if they took the same direction with Dizzy.
Yeah. No, I
Or go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that it's really great, and I love how they continually reference the fact that like Testament and Dizzy have a lot that they owe to each other. I think Dizzy literally says as much in one of her win quotes to them, where they're like, "Oh, I can't thank you enough. I'm able to live this way because I met you," and I think that that's so cool.
I mean, Testament's
And-
first Strive appearance was just them looking over Dizzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
They were just hidden in the credits somewhere. You had to like look for them.
Thank you, non-binary dad.
I love what they have. It's just like they really like developed together. I feel.
Yeah.
But part of me almost kind of wants to say that for Dizzy and Strive, and the way I see she would strive, I would almost want to think, maybe I'd want to see that it takes the polar opposite of Testament, where Testament was finally able to find inner peace by exploring the world and realizing, oh, humanity is actually beautiful, and this is something I love instead of something that I think rejects me. I think I'd find it like cooler if Dizzy embraced being queen and like had that she was not traveled per se, but that she developed her home to be such a beautiful place. Like she builds gardens within the castle, and like she everyone
would be
loves
awesome.
to visit her because of how wonderful of a place she cultivates. If like she
Yeah.
I love
were
that.
like in a stable place rather than Testament's like seeking things out.
I think that would be like a really cool progression because you have like X to XX where like she's ostracized from everyone. Then you have Exerd where she has a family and people who care about her, but for the majority of the story, like she still
She's in a
doesn't
rock.
think. Yeah, majority of the story, people still don't think super highly of her. I think it would be very fitting to like progress that even further and Strive, where she is very well regarded as queen and everyone kind of loves her. I think that would be very cool.
I think it's
I
that
wonder if
also
it has
that
anything to
for-
do with.
Yeah,
Oh
continue.
yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say, I wonder if it has anything to do with like Sega having the rights to Dizzy, like if
That's
that's
a
the reason she
big-
was stuck around.
I just want
Yeah.
to say this super quick before I
Well,
go into that
'cause
angle
that's,
of it. But Dizzy's character has been so defined by the places where she's been forced to. In X, she's forced into the Grove after finding a home. She's forced into a rock for all of Overture and part of Exerd. And then for Exerd's Sign, she's forced out of hiding and has to reveal herself in order if she wants to save everyone. And now she's finally out in the open after the end of Exord, where people actually respect her and like her because she's a genuine person that actually has a good heart, and they can recognize that. So I think it'd be now really cool if like she built a place that she has built herself that she really loves and doesn't feel like she was forced into being there. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I really like that idea, and I did try to include in the stripe design like allusions to her queenhood, similar to like how Ky has it, and like the bow in her back sort of looks like a crown at the top of her hair,
Yeah.
and then, like she's wearing a cape, sort of how Ky has that jacket that looks like a
I
cape.
feel stuck.
That's the Strive special, the jacket.
But I
Everybody
really
got
like how
really
like
cold.
your Strive Dizzy design. It looks just very casual. Just so like she's so chill, and it's like that goes along with like I think a lot of the Strive designs are they look very casual, just like something you could see them out wearing in normal life.
Yeah.
I love Stripe for that. I know that some people don't like the Stripe designs because they sort of go into that casual wear, when the series is pretty rooted in like either metal aesthetics or fantasy aesthetics. But I
But
think
it's
it's
still
a really
very-
interesting change.
It's still
I think
very
it's
fantastical because like
humanizing.
Yeah.
you wouldn't see someone walking around
Like
wearing
that
what
many
Ky
buckles.
wears. Because
No,
like
definitely not.
Kai's Strive outfit is definitely more grounded in reality than Exord Ky. But like you still
think
wouldn't
that's
see
true,
someone dressed like Strive Ky in public. Just like
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them really casual wear. It's more like they. It feels like they took the Exord designs and then just like turned them into realistic clothes.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you look at Millie or
Yeah.
Leo.
more
Like
well,
Leo's
yeah.
entire
Oh, yeah.
getup got changed by like got replaced with like a just like khaki pants and like a leather jacket.
And then you have Happy Chaos, who literally just steals a jacket from some guy at the White House.
Melly Lucy, do you mind playing for a bit? I want to drink some water for a bit.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Also, I posted it there, but the Vast Edge design, I just like how she has shorts. I just think that's really cute.
Yeah.
It's,
I think
it's
Dizzy with shorts
really
is
cute.
really nice. Yeah, it's
I
just...
like the other Vestige design because she has like a ponytail instead of her twintails.
Oh yeah, let
Oh, that
me
one's so
let me
pretty.
post that one really quick.
So
Yeah.
now I feel like would be a good
Yeah, I
time
like
to
that
bring
one.
up the legal issues.
Oh boy.
No.
So for those who are not aware, Guilty Gear games were not being developed for a period of I think 8 to 10 years after XX. So they were forced to just keep reiterating on XX for quite a while. Not even forced. I think it became a very well developed and loved game, you know, with Plus R. But Daisuke did have the idea for Exord in his mind running for quite a long time. But then, I forget who it was, it may have been Sega,
Sammy.
Yeah, it was
it was Sega Sammy
ended up, I
Corporation.
don't know the specifics of the legal case, but they ended up with the complete rights to Guilty Gear, preventing Daisuke from continuing with the series. And out of many legal arguments that he's talked to, he was able to develop one more game, and he only got the rights for Sol and Ky. And this ended up becoming Guilty Gear Overture, which also explains the vast gameplay difference between Overture and all the other games, where it became a battle action strategy RTS game.
And to play Overture.
But
It's really fun.
It's a fun game. It's a clunky game, but
Oh yeah, it's fun though, and the story's good.
and it's a beautiful Xbox 360 looking game too.
It is so Xbox 360.
Oh yeah. No, I played it and it was just like, this is just some Xbox game, and I loved it for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also the reason we have Maiden of the Grove as a name instead of Disney.
Yes.
True.
Because they weren't allowed. They're like, yeah, this is her, and they like slide her across the desk. Just like,
Yeah, this isn't Dizzy at all. This is the Maiden of the Grove.
Yeah.
Legally.
this is Sin's mother.
So yeah,
It's like they're
I've
trying.
seen a lot of people say that Dizzy's character arc kind of rushed from point A to point B, where it's like, oh, she's
A
finally
little.
free, and oh no, she suddenly it fucked Ky and now has a child, and there's just no in between with that. And I wanted to get your guys' perspective on that before I go on to my thing about it.
Oh,
How do you
boy.
guys feel about that character progression for Dizzy straight from I'm free to I'm a mother.
I didn't realize it was such a controversial topic because it's kind of like it's kind of like my favorite part of the character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I'm just absolutely a sucker for any kind of like family dynamics. I don't mean just found family, but I mean just like family dynamics in general. And the reason I enjoy it is because she wasn't really like before then. She earned her freedom from, like Dee said, being forced to do things, but like starting a family and even like going away with Ky in the first place was absolutely her choice.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said way back, it's essentially allowed her to find something to find that human connection that she can actually defend, and she will know will be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you look at like familial roles, and if you take the traditional idea of a father as the protector, you can essentially interpret it from the angle that she knows she won't be harming her family because like Ky is protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like during the events of X, and this is shown especially in Dizzy's XR episode, it's like through fighting Ky, it's like he proves to her that it's like there are people who can handle your strength and like who like you won't hurt, and just by being, it's like it's okay to live as you deserve to be happy.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of rambling.
Her win quote against Ky, I think, is really elucidating in that regard, because I think she says, "The future must be imagined, I'm no longer afraid." And I think it also ties in really well with her win quote against Sol, where she's like, "You and I are no longer alone, please stand beside me, help me keep the others from creating new enemies." And they're both just like so awesome. So really just driving home that point that she's not bound to the past any longer, and realizing that she's not an other, she's doing the things that she wants to do and finally living the life that she wants to live, like bereft of the expectations of society, and that if she actually works with people, if she has people she can rely on and that will accept her for who she is in the same way she's accepted herself, that she can make the world that she wants to live in.
I feel like the people who are supposedly mad that her character was rushed don't realize that making her a mom doesn't just advance her character, it also advances Sol, Ky, and Sin.
Yeah.
I've seen the argument a few times that it's that she has been fridged as a character to propel all these male characters forward, and she was pushed to the side. But honestly, I grew very warm to it over time, where it's like, to me it kind of reads like she was finally let out in the world, and the first thing she does is she finally experiences all the things she could never have before, and now she finally experiences love, and she rushes into love so quickly with Ky, because I think it's like a really much like a love at first sight kind of thing, where it's like they knew they were gonna be meant for each other, and she doesn't even see this as like an abnormal thing, where it's like that she's just rushing into all this, that she has a kid, that like she wants to build a family and be happy and have all this. Meanwhile, Ky is having his internal freak out over it during Overture, but she doesn't even realize this kind of stuff. It reads to me as very like teenage into college adulthood stuff, where it's like, hey, if I talk to the people that I graduated from college with, I wonder how many of them have kids right now. That would make me feel really weird. But
yeah.
I think, cause I really enjoy her accent core story mode, because it essentially explains how she ended up with Ky, where she loses control of Necro, and he ends up being the one to like fight her and like get her under control. And I think in that he proved to her that she's not this lethal weapon, that like her power can absolutely be like managed and controlled, and she essentially, I don't want to, I'm making it sound like she's essentially, I'm making it sound like Ky basically beating her was what made her fall in love with him, which sounds a bit misogynistic, but what I'm mostly referring to is the fact that
Dizzy beat him.
I mean, yeah, Dizzy beat him, but
it's the fact that neither of them killed each other. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's like
they
agreed to stop the fighting.
It was essentially proof that she isn't it was proof to herself that she isn't nearly as lethal as she assumed she was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what
Exactly.
what drew her to Ky.
That's a big part of her episode in XR too, where it's just like, Ky says like, "I will cut you down," but he's referring to like your like perceptions of yourself, like you, like again saying like literally like, Dizzy's like, "Why aren't you fighting back? Like you could kill me," and he's like, "I just wanted to show you there are people out there who can handle your power. It's like who can, like you're not as dangerous as you think you are."
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely. I mean, objectively speaking, she absolutely is dangerous. It's just that I feel like she herself doesn't comprehend just how much her being who she is, like, keeps that power under control.
Yeah.
Because she's essentially very afraid of her own power, and but at the same time, she is a nice person. The only way for her, like the only way for her to lose control of that power is, I feel like, just like in her IK in Exert, like maybe getting lost in the heat of a fight or something. But I don't see it happening realistically at all.
Yeah.
Hey, super quick question for you, Dizzy Heads. What is the circle that surrounds her when she fights? I have no idea what that is.
I don't know. Justice has a similar thing in one of her intros. I think it's just like...
Cool.
Yeah, and I guess it shows that she's powerful. It shows that, I guess, she's the commander here.
Yeah, my best guess is just to show, like, the
connection to Justice.
Either that or just, like, showing, like, the energy from Necro and Undyne. That was my guess.
Yeah.
I always assumed it was, like, a gameplay thing, like, showing some kind of stacks or something.
No, actually, the texture itself has the gear insignia on it, and every gear actually has a slightly different insignia from each other. Like Sol, his, you can see it very clearly in Strive.
Sol has like the circle triangular streak thing.
Yeah, but his it's got like these like two parts in the middle, whereas like Justice's it's like just the three and then the two coming off the bottom, and that's the same one that Dizzy has because she is a backup of Dizzy or of Justice.
So, question: is her gear mark in those sigils, or is it like on her forehead underneath her bangs?
I would assume she also has one on her forehead, but I'm not sure if we ever see that. But there is like that gear mark like in that ring there, but it's upside down. I don't know why. It's like the texture is just a little messed up, and
What if it's not messed up? What if she was doing it while looking down and she wrote it like a...
Whoa, you're so true. You're actually so real.
It could also symbolize some kind of an inversion. Like, when you see an inverted flag, it sort of tends to represent a perversion of a country's ideals, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, no,
in the same regard, her having an upside down gear sigil could essentially symbolize her distancing herself from her powers.
Yeah, no, I really like that.
I think that's true, but also maybe looking into it a little bit too much because there is like a bit of text there too that is also upside down.
Yeah, it is it is absolutely just a technical mistake.
Yeah, but I think that's a really cool reading of it, though. I think that's a super cool reading.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure if this is right, but doesn't she have that sigil also on her leggings in her XR design?
I got most of the characters I want in Strive, but Dizzy's like the last piece that I need.
That's your Exodia.
Yeah.
My Exodia is Justice, and that's not happening.
Oh, this would be a really good time to bring up. So, every character in Strive has less moves than they do in their previous iterations. What moves do you want them to keep for Strive? I want them to keep Fish.
You have to keep Fish. That's like her thing.
I don't know if they're gonna keep Bubble because that's one of the ones that's like a little bit more convoluted to use.
Yeah.
So
I feel
like... do? Is it just like it just floats around in a weird path, and it's a projectile, or does it do something?
It floats, and then you have to hit it, and then it activates. It pops, and the pop is what deals damage. The bubble itself doesn't do any damage.
I feel like if they simplified the bubble too much, they would essentially turn it into a different version of Milia's H-Disc.
Yeah.
Well, think about it.
Well, Milia had another move kind of like Bubble called Secret Garden, where she has the orb that you control where it goes.
Oh, true.
And in Exert, you do. I don't know if you control the bubble in this game, but you do control the bubble in Exert. You have to press. You have to hold up or down.
in this game, you don't control it. It's just you can shoot it at 3 different angles, or you can do the force break version, which homes in.
I know. I think a lot of people would be mad if Dizzy got in if they only cared about gameplay, because she'd be yet again another full screen set play zoner.
Yeah.
You know what?
But
You know what?
Whoa.
Yeah.
You get Oscar. You get
Fuck
Oscar.
shit
All of you get
player.
Oscar.
Volatile stance.
No,
She's
Dizzy would be great for this. Dizzy would be great for Strive because it would give more people another character to post TOD combos against. 'Cause-
Also, 2 air dashes. I love 2 air dashes.
Mhm.
I like how she plays because I love characters with 2 air dashes. Gogeta 4 in Dragon Ball FighterZ, love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first found out that Millia had 2 air dashes, I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited to try out this character. And then it's like they stop after a while. It doesn't carry your momentum, and it works for Millia, but it doesn't work for me. And then I was like, shoot, that sucks. But Dizzy. Oh boy, they just let her fly
I don't know if
around.
this is like the intended use of Millia's air dashes, but I mostly kind of use them as a mix-up tool and not really for movement.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mostly as I see, just jump up,
That's
air dash a couple of times, use JH
That's like
and
why
fall
it's
I imagine they would bring Fish back, but I imagine it would just be 2 different versions, one with a laser and one with the bite, and you can't string them together.
It could be, since she is a very technical character. It could be that they just pull an Elf and give her a completely new kit, but keep the abilities.
it's totally
visual.
possible.
Who's Elfhelp? I only know Noel Vermillion.
I was wondering too, if they added a new move for Dizzy and Scribe, what would you want it to be? Like some kind of new fun projectile? Because I was thinking about it
Big
myself.
tail bites.
True! I was thinking to myself, make her kind of like Marks in Kirby, where it's like she's got full screen lasers coming down from the ceiling and from the floor.
Dude, like a pillar of light would be cool and would kind of tie in with her sort of angel-y aesthetic.
We mentioned this earlier, but I think it would be cool to have kind of that monstrous kind of feel back, because like we said earlier, Exit kind of got rid of a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I think
it'd
just
be really
having
cool if
one
she
new move.
embraced her gear.
Yeah, I
a little bit
think
more.
what would cement her character arc perfectly would be giving her a dragon install.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
God,
wow.
I really
Necro,
wish they
bring
I would
Necro
love
install
her to
back. Bring
have
Necro
one.
install back. Bring Necro install back.
I
Yeah, I
want
was
her
gonna say,
to
she
have
had
Dragon
Necro install.
I want Sol to have his. I want Sin to have one. I want Testament to have one.
That's what I was
The thing is,
expecting them to do. I was expecting
I'm
them
not
to just
sure
give one
it
to
is-
Sol.
too.
I think the problem is
Jacko.
it's a lot animation-wise, and also Strive is already such a damage-heavy game. They don't want to include things like that. And Ky was the
Robo-Ky
exception
install.
because- yeah.
The thing about that is that they keep lowering the damage every patch, but
It'll never be enough, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like if she used
As
her
long-
full power,
oh my god,
I'm
if
sorry.
they add instant kills.
It'll
Yeah,
never be
it's-
enough because of Volcanic Viper.
Yeah.
Hashtag nerf H Viper. I'm so serious. I play Eno. It fucks me up.
Hey.
Shout out
Advice
to
from
the
a
beta
former
when it did
Eno.
45%.
What'd you say, Lucy?
Stop. I said, here's some advice from a former Eno. Stop.
Mm.
No, I can't. I can't stop. I love her too much. I
It
know
took
I'm
me
giving
2
this
years.
self-harm, but
Oh my goodness.
You can quit. Contact exit.
Yeah.
call
Hi, my name is
1-800
D,
Play
and-
Exit instead.
Eno's anonymous.
What
and it's just
1-800
you and
midnight
Dora.
Eno's anonymous. But yeah, I do feel like if she got a new move, from a character perspective, because that's the thing I'm most interested in, because God knows I suck at the game,
Mhm.
I do think the most logical thing would be giving her a very powerful move. Not powerful in terms of gameplay, but powerful in terms of story and power, just to sort of show that she's gotten over that fear.
Yeah.
Just something that she does on purpose would be good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
like something
would
that
be-
she does like without Necro or Undyne, I think would be nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be cool because like
That'd be
all
really
of her
cool.
animations in something I forgot to mention. One of my favorite things just about Dizzy in general is just her animations in Exert specifically, where like she's just always so shocked. Even like from 5P, she's so shocked whenever that 5P comes out.
Or,
It's just a little blow from
wait,
Necro.
just like if I could just show this, her 5D where Undyne taps her on the shoulder to draw her attention away from Necro uppercutting the opponent.
MK could never.
It's like a
Just
I'm kicking
realized,
that.
is Dizzy like the only example of a true pacifist character in fighting games? Or she spends the entire time not
Celica?
fighting him?
Celica, Blaze Blue, where like
I was gonna say like there are other pacifistic characters, but like they do still punch you in the jaw
Yeah.
intentionally.
Yeah,
Like-
like Axel's a pacifist, but he still is fucking hitting you with chains.
because like
Or like
Celica,
Dalsum, like he's still breathing fire at you, or like fucking Liu Kang.
Celica and Blaze Blue, she doesn't have. She like her only move where like she's actually attacking you is when she falls on her face. It's her 6A, and she literally just falls over. The rest of her moves are just like her robot companion Minerva attacking you. And wait! I can bring this up. Her instant kill, her astral finish is she heals you. She literally heals you up to full HP, and then the robot swoops in and kills you.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's actually
That was
fucking
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
BlazBlue is such a cute, quirky game. I swear to God, for me personally, this is not the case for everyone else, and I respect people that do play BlazBlue. But if it wasn't so much of a Coomer game for me personally, I would get in it. But
I would play it if it
understand.
was fun to play.
Whoa.
I think the game sucks.
I would play it if I wasn't a European Wi-Fi warrior because I really like night.
Yeah.
there's no one in Europe playing like BlazBlue. Central Flip?
Bring Susanoo to a better game. Bring
Maybe pro-
Susanoo to
I'll
a better
say,
game,
I'll say,
please.
like, at least Blaze was not the most Coomer game. Cop Cop Uni Melty. Cop Cop Uni Melty.
Really? Makes them
Yeah,
work.
this entire talk about like pacifist and animation it just made me remember that tweet from earlier today where the dude was like, "Oh, do you want every one of your attacks to represent something about the character?" Yes, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like the point of
Like-
fighting games.
Yeah.
I feel like a character who's a show-off and uses guns should show off when he uses his guns.
Isn't the
Very
whole
true.
point? Isn't the whole point of animation like expression?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's,
Like,
like,
yeah.
There's a
fact that we
scene.
can
There's a
look at
scene in the
every-
movie where he turns around and shoots a guy in the dick. Like, why can't you put that in
They
You-
would
you can't
so
tell me
that's
these are the
such
same.
a
Look
that's
at these
such
two
another
different
episode.
images.
The fact that every single one of Dizzy's
Yeah.
attacks and animations involves her having a different expression and moving with her body in different ways and showing how she feels about each attack coming out compared to like literally any MK character. Or,
Yeah.
like, just
It is
fucking
vexing
insane.
that NetherRealm
But it's
Studios
cool.
was presented with the incredible opportunity to put John Cena in their fighting game, and they just did this to him. I feel bad for the man who has completed more Make-A-Wish wishes than any other celebrity in the world for the
Don't
way he has
forget
been
K-
treated.
What was it? KOF All Stars Fighting. You can play as John Cena in that.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, never mind. I think he's-
Somebody somebody
derpy-ass
replied to my
face.
tweet and was like, "As somebody who has been watching John Cena fight for 20 years, that is not how John Cena throws a punch."
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
don't know what they did to this poor man, and especially like Peacemaker. Like you could throw so much sauce on that, and they denied him any. Very tragic. The point of fighting game character animations, even the small ones, are supposed to be that it evokes the character that they are, and you could walk by the screen of somebody else playing and be like, "Oh, I like the way that guy moves. That's pretty cool." Like. There's just no way to defend, like, even the small animations not looking really, really cool. Everything should be
Everyone.
anime.
I'm sorry
Hello,
for
everyone, and welcome
slightly.
to Talk to Me About Peacemaker.
I'm sorry for slightly stealing your sweet sick man, but I'm just gonna tweet out like the Peacemaker animation and the Chaos animation and just caption it with Soul versus Soulless.
It's true, it's true. So we mentioned a while back, I'm like, looping a bunch here with this, but for the most part, a lot of Dizzy's quotes in the earlier games are just her begging people not to fight, but her one quote, which is kind of particular interest, is her one against Milia, where she says, I don't know how to say this, but I think that we're like each other. And yeah, I think that that's like so interesting.
Why I'm vibrating.
Yeah, no, for me, the way that I'm interpreting that, and I feel free anybody else to chime in, I'm thinking of it like both of them being women who are kind of forced to become political tools or engines of war by the government kind of against their own wishes, but like I feel like there's a lot there, especially early on in Dizzy's character, that's so interesting.
Like, both of them are women who hate themselves because they are weapons.
Mm-hmm.
There is a very sort of interesting difference between them. And also, Jay, thank you for bringing this up because they're literally my two favorite characters in the series.
Yeah.
They neither of them sort of want to be weapons, although there is very much difference in that Milia, she's well aware of the fact that she is a weapon in the sense that she is an assassin. She has killed and she has taken lives.
Mm-hmm.
But over time, she grows to realize this isn't what I wanted to do, and sort of begins resenting Zato because he's not only the man who turned her into that, but he sort of like represented everything that was wrong with her life. Yeah. Whereas Dizzy, it was more. With Dizzy, it felt more like her vitriol and her anger were sort of directed at herself and not towards sort of like the people around her or any particular person.
Yeah, but I feel like there's also the similarity that like ultimately they have that shared legacy of like someone's hatred that they're kind of living in the shadow of. Like for Milia, obviously it's kind of like the whole Assassin's Guild and a little bit her own because of how Zato treated her, and then for Dizzy it's like the world essentially because of her relationship to justice.
Just like her,
having the stories kind of culminate with both of them realizing, like, no, I have to love me for me as a person, with Milia's theme being love the subhuman self, but
Cannot wait for Dizzy's theme and Strive. Cannot wait for Dizzy's theme and Strive.
I wanted
Oh
to
my god.
ask, when Dizzy's theme comes out, who would you want singing on it?
I think Aisha would do good.
It's been so long since we got an Aisha theme.
Yeah.
I want Aisha and Naoki. It's like a duet sort of.
Yes,
like,
I definitely.
Necessary discrepancy.
Yeah, I
give us the necessary discrepancy
on this. I know I'm in the minority on this, but I really don't like necessary discrepancy. But
I don't think you're in the minority on that. I think it's very polarizing.
I love that song, but most people don't.
I do love the song, but my main issue with it is that Naoki kind of takes over the entire song.
Mm-hmm.
Although it does make sense thematically if you consider Aisha's verse as like Ariel speaking.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, I think it's that they went for the interpretation that Aisha is Ariel's, and I really want it to be that Naoki and Aisha swapped roles on the song, but I think it's that, and it became super clear to me when I thought about it and listened to the whole Strive soundtrack, that Aisha doesn't feel comfortable singing certain ways the way that Naoki can. Naoki can hit low notes, hit high notes, and switch it up between like talking and then singing and growling. And Aisha very much wants to sit in a certain range of I can hit really, really, really high notes, and it's really incredible that she can. Like, I don't think I can fucking sing like I forget the name of May's theme. Like, she hits really good notes when she does, especially in Love the Subhuman Self as well, but she doesn't feel comfortable going outside that range, which is a shame. I really would love to see her go outside that range a bit, but...
My problem with necessary discrepancy isn't even the vocals. I just think like the actual instrumental is just not good.
Yeah, the melody's a little strange.
Yeah.
I
do think it's way more electronic to sort of... I'm sorry. I do think it's way more electronic to sort of show how alien and different Ram is compared to like the rest of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like she is sort of like a robot in a sense.
Yeah.
I think my main problem is the drums. The drums are just like way too overpronounced.
I'm trying to think, like, there's like choir in Guilty Gear X for her theme, and I definitely think a choir would be brought over for her new theme if it happens in the same way where it's got the slow start and then like the overwhelming metal comes in.
Although I feel like it could be more happy now.
Yeah, I would be
Yeah.
surprised if she gets something along the lines of like Bridget's theme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
that'd
would
be
see
really
how
awesome.
they accomplish that without just doing what they did in Exert again, because her theme in Rev 2 is like kind of like that. It's very uplifting.
One's on, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Especially
It's-
the
but
ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's so beautiful.
It is a
It's so
very
beautiful.
positive. Yeah, it's a very positive
Mhm.
kind of ending, to like contrast with Ah She, which is very melancholic. But I don't know like how they would do her theme in Strive without just doing what they did in the Exert again.
My opinion that I really want for Dizzy's theme is that it starts off with Aisha vocals, and then it cuts into the song, and it's a battle of vocalists between Aisha and Molly Daisy, where Molly is meant to represent Necro, and Aisha is more Undyne. And I don't know who would be
That'd be
Dizzy. I
fun.
think I would also want Aisha as Dizzy, but I could accept Naoki as Dizzy.
It could be all three. It could be all three vocalists, and then you have one of the women is Dizzy, one is Undyne, and then Naoki is Necro.
I
see
would
it
love
like
to see
a-
Molly Daisy come back. I would love to see
Yes.
Molly Daisy come back.
Yeah, oh my, for an
Molly
Appa
Daisy
theme?
Yeah, she was
Please.
so incredible.
For a Justice theme? No, not happening. Not happening.
I was gonna start off the episode by saying this, and then I ended up forgetting because I got excited additionally. But I was like, we are gonna get a new character announced next week. As of recording, this is February 2024.
That
And
is
Arc
next
System, Arc Tour is gonna have its big tournament next month in 3 weeks about. This episode could very easily be outdated, and everything that we say is proven wrong, and that her theme actually sounds completely different than what we're saying, and she actually has no new moves.
And she dies in the story.
Yeah.
She's a ghost now.
A big anvil falls on her head and she dies. She gets turned into
It's
an
a big
accordion.
trailer.
The trailer cuts to Dizzy, and then just like fucking Slayer comes up and he just kind of shoves her out of the way, and he's the
No,
kid.
no, it's
my
Robokai.
God.
It's gotta be Robokai.
Shoves her off a cliff.
Unironically, when they showed that teaser for Asuka, the Tome of Origin, like just the Tome of Origin, I thought because Johnny was data mined, I thought it was gonna be like Asuka reaching for it and Johnny just stealing it from her.
Johnny's stealing the Tome of Origin. Oh my
That would
goodness.
actually be so sick.
Yeah.
No. You know what's gonna happen is they're gonna tease like the next character is a gear, and everyone's gonna be like, "It's Dizzy." It's Leopoldon.
No, let's go! Leopoldon heads. It's not
actually
too late.
my OC Echo. It's actually my OC Echo. They're adding her in the game. She's going to be real.
Let's do it.
What if it was Justice? Wow.
What
Oh
if?
my god, sorry. Justice's little win quote against Dizzy that happened just now, where she just says,
Yes!
"Sleep now." Jesus Christ.
Dizzy is one of the only characters in the game that Justice does not hold like violent contempt against in her win quote.
Melly, what if
Just because it's like,
This was my precious egg.
yeah.
What if it is Justice, but it's specifically Crow's Justice?
I would cry and maybe kill myself.
Take Joy Day.
You see like it panning from the bottom up to Justice, and you're like, wow, it's Justice, and then that funny fucker shows up.
I'm like,
that creature.
okay, I wouldn't be sad if it was like a clone Justice, or if like they needed to like bullshit a lore reason, like, oh, fucking Nightmare Justice. It's
Yeah.
the fucking it's the fucking visions of Justice
Yeah,
cast.
yeah.
But it's like
Yeah.
as long as she like acts the same, as long as she's still as like passionate and emotive and angry as she always was,
So why
I'm
can
not
I
sure if
imagine
you, saw
Justice?
the
I'd be happy
interview
with
that
that.
came out with Daisuke not too long ago, or maybe it was one of the other directors that was like, "Oh yeah, we are not totally opposed to bringing back dead characters such as Cliff. You know, there is an appeal for Cliff." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
Where my clip heads
I feel
at?
like that was more of a joke, though. That read is more of a joke to me. I don't know.
Can we please
I
reenact the
hope it's
legendary
Goku.
battle? Yeah, when Goku died in Guilty Gear, that was really sad.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
this
could
is
totally
Namek?
imagine. I could totally imagine Justice with just Five Nights at Freddy's noises.
Yeah, remember when Arya Hale got into Justice and she was like, "I always come back, Soul."
Yes, yes, that's my favorite part.
No,
But it's like the thing is, it's like
I love when I get
There's not
zoned
really a
out
way
by
to bring
Justice and the
Justice.
screen flashes. It's me. It's really cool.
that was so scary.
Matt Pappian, is Arya Hail Justice?
Tune in to find out who is the guilty gear.
It's Sans.
Oh no.
Rest in peace, Matt Pat.
That is something he would say though. That is something he would say though, because it's explicitly stated who the guilty gear is, but he would still make a video for
I know, I was
stating
gonna
about
say,
it.
in the first game,
Hollow
in
Knight
the
is the Pale
first
King
game, they
flashbacks.
tell you.
And you know too! He would say that the guilty gear is Ky, actually.
Yeah. He's guilty, and now he's a gear. I hate this.
Justice is so beautiful. I love her.
I hate
at
the
this.
fact that we don't know how. I hate the fact that I found out that the eye transplant thing was actually just a myth and it was never confirmed anywhere. So gear STDs are back in the menu for theories.
Yeah, no, that.
Wait, the eye thing
honestly,
was a myth?
that's the only explanation I can think of.
Same
Well,
here.
yeah, it was a myth. It was in like GG World, but then it was taken out, and it wasn't in the Japanese version of it.
Oh.
And Daisuke like mentioned that it's like, oh no, it's a secret, but I'm gonna tell you it's got something to do with Dizzy. And I'm like, oh, it's fucking Gear STD, dude.
Cannot believe that this is where we're at.
I can't believe Daisuke, on multiple occasions, is so open about, like, oh yeah, Dizzy and Ky fuck. They fuck. they go in. They have such a great relationship. They're doing this constantly. And also, all the secret powers that may happen, it's because of that.
It's the one Biden meme tweet where it's like, "What's your secret to maintaining a stable relationship?" And he's like, "I fuck," and people are asking Ky with Dizzy. I fuck.
Let me just mention this message is endorsed by everybody here at Talk to Me About. If you make Ky pedo jokes, fuck you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh,
Fuck off with
true.
that.
I agree.
Oh my god.
This is also endorsed by everyone here. Ky did give birth to Sin.
Yes.
Dizzy did impregnate that man.
Yes.
She did!
Pregnant man emoji on screen.
I wish Daisuke didn't do all the weird age shit that he did, but I
Yeah.
understand why he did, and the reason is that he didn't want too much time to pass from Guilty Gear X to Missing Link, and the only way he could do that was by having a daughter character, I guess. He wanted to have a daughter character, and he wanted to have it now, so he was like, okay, Gears age quickly, bam, done.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting question for you guys. How do you think?
I think Guilty Gear handles it better than most.
How do you guys think? Since it's a complete mystery, how was Dizzy born? Like, how was she conceived and born? And all that?
So, it is like they do say it's like, oh, Sol, you're like the dad, but I don't think that Dizzy actually has Sol's genetics. I think because in Guilty Gear 2 they refer to Dizzy as a backup of Justice, but in the ending of Guilty Gear X, Asuka is like surprised to hear that Justice had a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say,
And-
there's an ending with, when Crow, with her accent core, where Crow is making Dizzy clones, and there's just vials of tubes and tubes of Dizzy.
Yeah.
Very a la Rei Ayanami, which I think was an inspiration, and probably also why Dizzy has blue hair to begin with.
Personally, I always imagine it as just like Sol and Arya banged sometime before before shit went down, and just because of like weird gear magic, the pregnancy took forever. But like the thing is, if Dizzy is 3 years old by Guilty Gear X, she would not have been born from Justice, because Justice was sealed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so.
So she has to be some kind of like test tube baby, or at the very least, the egg was laid before, like long before Justice got sealed.
I haven't thought
Yeah,
too
I like to think
deeply
that she
about
was
it, but what I
either
had
created.
thought is that, Sol and Arya did their thing. Arya was like, hey, I have cancer, I suppose. I need to go in a test tube. She's in that for 50 years. Then Asuka puts her into Justice. Everything happens where Sol kills Justice, but as a last-ditch effort before she dies, she laid an egg? I guess?
See, that's what I'm thinking, because I feel like it probably was, because they refer to Dizzy as a backup of Justice, which I think backup is like, maybe I'm looking too far into it, but it does seem like someone made her like in case Justice died.
Yeah.
Which could be like Justice made her. It's like, carry on my legacy, carry on my evil legacy.
That almost makes me
Or-
think then that you could technically classify Dizzy as like the love child of Sol and Testament then? Because Testament was entire thing was reviving justice by any means necessary, including using their own blood. What if it's then that like Testament is actually even more direct than that and is like blood related to Dizzy?
I read all that on AO3.
Yeah, no, it's super nebulous, which I guess is like.
Yeah, I actually like that it's not explicitly stated.
Yeah, no, same. I was gonna say it helps like the kind of not monstery, but like weirdness about her.
It's super funny to me when you consider what Dee mentioned earlier, where Daisuke's like, "Oh yeah, those two absolutely fucked. They did. They went down and dirty."
Kai's powers, yeah, they fucked.
Yeah.
Hey, Bork, is this something that you've ever thought about involving Dizzy's
Conception?
conception?
Well, I have thought about it before, and what I would just say every time is that Sol laid an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fought. Sol and Justice fought together, and then Sol laid an egg somehow.
Arya, don't worry, I froze my eggs before this all happened.
Very
But yeah,
forward thinking of you, Sol.
It's really a mystery to me. I'm not like a big lore person, especially for the older games. But
No, and it's perfectly understandable too. It can get messy and it's convoluted.
yeah, and like
I basically
don't
only
know,
know
more
the lore
accurate
for-
pachinko or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that Justice held hands with herself, and through that love, Dizzy was born.
I basically only know the
That's
lore for
beautiful.
characters I like. That's like
So
it.
true.
And I know the Strive story, and it's like it.
I need to point out my one friend Morg, who has encyclopedic knowledge of everything Answer ever, and knows everything about Answer and Chip, and knows literally nothing else in any other Guilty Gear. He is so real for that.
I feel like there's not a lot to know about Like, isn't Answer like one of the least like documented characters in the Guilty Gear canon?
You are
We're wrong on
correct.
that.
Answer has
Yeah.
3 scenes.
Can I be 100% real with you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I unironically did not know Crow existed until Dee released the podcast episode.
I think that was the case for a lot of people, genuinely.
Yes. That was something I really wanted to highlight too. I similarly did not know Crow was a character until I saw that there's I mentioned it in the Crow podcast. There's a group of 3 artists who have spent their entire lives just, we are going to only draw Crow Kuraraba. There's like 10,000 images they have drawn of Crow alone.
Hey, so who's Crow?
Crow is
I'm kidding,
the character in Accent Core. Oh, yeah, sorry.
It really speaks to the state of Crow that we were all just like, oh well, we should explain.
Yeah. Also, I just want to mention that her J2S, this little spinny move, is throw in vulnerable. Don't know why. Just it.
Her JH is attack level 5.
That's so
What the fuck
silly.
is wrong with this character, man?
They just
Former boss privilege, I guess.
It's gone on for long enough.
God
Maybe
forbid
I should
women
start
have
asking
hobbies.
some questions about the gameplay style of things. How good is she in Plus R, anyways? And how good is she
She's
in
fucking
Exit?
good.
I've seen like
She's really good at this game. She's like one of the top 5, I think.
yeah, she's like top 5. She's like top 5 minimum, and I've seen a lot of players like I'm sure this is like just the salt talking, but I have heard a lot of players, especially from my scene, say like, "Oh, she's top 1, bro. She's the best character in the game, bro." We just don't-
More than Zaphon Testament, really?
yeah.
She's easy too. Like she's simple.
The only hard part is like Ice Spike FRC. That's like it.
Yeah, but still, like, it's like if you can get down the muscle memory for that, it's not that hard. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Can you guys
it's
walk
like
me
the
through, like the Dizzy game plan and also like what makes her so good, other than filling up the screen with random bullshit.
So like you throw out a fish, right? You just throw out a
Yeah.
fish. In this game, she can throw out 2. You program the fish to do. You press 2 buttons instead of 1, so you press 1 and then the other.
it'll make a sound when you do it.
The bubbles pop out when you awesome.
Yeah. So basically, if you want like, and you can do 2. You can do 2 of the same one if you want. So if you want to do like the H one, you can just do 214 HH, and then it'll do the laser twice. Yeah.
I've been doing that this whole time.
Yeah, she also has one of the best throws in the game. It has insane reach.
Dude.
Really?
And you can
Is
combo
it
off of
that
it.
grab you, or?
Yeah.
This entire time when I was getting hit by that, I thought that was a command throw. That's just her regular ass throw.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's just a normal throw. She doesn't
It's-
have a command grab.
It's a regular throw.
She's falling off my
It's
desk.
the only regular throw that has more reach than that is Potemkin's, and I think maybe Justice.
Oh yeah,
From what
dude,
I've
Justice
heard,
is
too,
also
Potemkin
fucking
is not even
huge.
like a strike throw character in this game. Like he's just mix up kind of. Like
Yeah.
that's how good they made him.
Potemkin mains will always suffer for being good in accent core.
Not even
Yeah,
plus our accent core.
The original
Vanilla
sin.
accent core.
Very, very appropriate to talk about for the Dizzy podcast because Dizzy is also suffering from the legacy of Justice and the great violence that Justice inflicted in the same way that
In accent
Potemkin
core.
inflicted great violence.
It's interesting too now that I think about it that Justice isn't exactly very mobile in this game, and Dizzy's whole thing is that she can move around the entire screen
Yeah.
while throwing shit.
Well,
Yeah.
see, you know how Dizzy has 2 air dashes?
Yeah.
Justice had 3.
Wait, really?
Justice had 3 air dashes in every game before +R. And she was really fast, and it was fucking crazy, and I hope that if she comes to Strive, she's fast again, because fast big bodies are really rare to come by these days.
But they are very funny.
I have seen the way Gold
They're
Lewis
very cool.
Yeah, it's random.
flies across the screen. You
Yeah,
can't fool
yeah.
me.
I'm picking random. Let's see what we get.
Fuck yeah.
Oh.
Hey, we were just talking about
Speaking
him.
of thing,
Did you have something to say, Segment?
no, I said speaking of Potemkin.
Oh, yeah.
I think Dizzy
Yeah, I
and
think
Ky
it's-
should kiss on screen.
That for a character that is the embody of Guilty Gear's Heaven and Hell, that there isn't a lot of like religious symbolism or like religion stuff going on with her. I guess she does date a Christian man, but
Asuka just
Yeah,
gobbled
I mean,
all this shit up.
other than like
Yeah.
the angel wings, and then also like, you know, being referred to as a demon and shit, it's like, yeah, like other than that, there's nothing like overtly religious with her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say like with like the Necro and Bound super, it's like they go into a coffin, but and there's like the statue. I'm not sure if that has any religious imagery on it though.
You could argue that she is
I don't
sort
know.
of an absolutely virtuous character.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
She
Sort of
lives
yeah.
the religion. Yeah.
She's the only character who doesn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah, no, that
She's the only character who has like no desire to cause any harm at all.
Yeah, I actually have a few more win quotes to segue off of that, actually, where,
look at you and your homework.
yeah, no, I don't know why, I just felt very compelled to check out a lot of stuff, but, against Slayer, when she beats him, she says that I still do not like fighting, but I understand that the world is built upon a foundation of differences. If I can accept your way of life, it too will be a source of my encouragement. And then also against Chip, she says, now I understand, you fight to exist, that is why I can also win my battle. So kind of in both cases, bringing reference to the fact
That's
that
beautiful.
Fuck,
she
I was
once
gonna
had
mention
to...
that, but I forgot.
Yeah, no, well, there you
Yeah.
go. She had to fight to survive, and the fact that, like, and I think this is a really important point for her character, the fact that, like, not all violence, and you see this with her fight with Ky, I wanted to bring that up much earlier, like, not all violence necessarily has to be a horrible thing, and in some cases it's kind of necessary, right? That it's still tragic, and it's good to have that mentality of not wanting to fight above all else, but you shouldn't, like, completely avert your eyes when it's necessary or when it's generative, like just the notion of conflict in general, even extrapolating out from just like, you know, actual physical violence. But yeah, I just thought that was super cool.
I do think fighting games in general do tend to sort of view fighting as a philosophy, in
Yeah.
the sense that you have,
like as a
Like-
way of talking.
Mhm.
yeah, like Ryu is like the classic example because he sees fighting as a way of communication where he speaks and he meets people through fighting them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have, for example, Kazuya or Akuma who believe in like power above all else and want to be like the greatest fighter of all time. And I think sort of every video game, every fighting game tends to have at least one character where it's like they can examine the nature of violence and fighting itself.
Yeah.
I did not think that HPP
Yeah.
would work, by the way.
I guess that's also just sort of like how it works with like martial arts in
Yeah.
like real life.
Yeah.
Like if you talk to like martial fighters, they'll tell you it's like there's a great respect between them, and it's like because, like fighting, it's pretty much like a conversation in a way, and it's everyone has their own different ways of doing it, and
No, friend of the podcast, Jake, is a big martial artist, and frequently we'll talk about the time that he spends like doing, like little karate sparring matches between different people at the, I guess, karate dojo that he learns at, and you could really see that it really is more than just like moving your body in a certain way. It's like you can kind of get a sense of the other person's ideals, and sometimes that's like really fun and exciting, and it means something profound.
Some of that comes through in fighting games too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no idea what I'm doing here.
That actually
you're cheating.
That does
out of wait mode. I've never done this.
That does bring me to a point, actually, maybe Lucy, where you could.
You go to the you pause and you go to character select, and you just press the select button to go back again.
Okay, I have to find character select.
It'll be at the bottom.
So, who was talking to me?
That was me, but yeah, something maybe you could inform me about, since I am like completely helpless when it comes to gameplay. Is there really a meaningful difference between like the way that two people might play Dizzy, or is it like this is like the tech that everybody's using?
I really think I wouldn't be able. I'm not a huge +R nut. My main game is Strive, so I wouldn't be able to really tell you. But it's just like how you navigate, like it really is just movement, because you just do not want to get touched. Yeah.
Kind of tangentially related, if I can keep the ball rolling with win quotes. I really liked her win quote for Elfelt and Exerd. And I don't know how relevant it is to the conversations we were just having, but it is, don't seek someone who's only looking at you. You must search for someone who looks in the same direction as you do, which I feel like is really interesting.
I'm stealing that line.
Yeah, right. No, kind of in a more abstract sense, hits on some of Dizzy's themes, where it's kind of looking beyond the superficial, right? Where she's trying to say fundamentally, love isn't about obsession; it's about trust and cooperation. Something which I'm not sure is like really perfectly represented through her relationship with Ky as we see it in the games, but it's really true in the sense that both she and Ky are fighting for equality for gears and freedom to live as themselves, to overcome those pasts that once defined them. Both of them kind of formerly imagining themselves as like this horrible weapon, but now they're a lot more humanized, so I just thought that was cool.
They do both also take up the role of like a protector in the family, in the sense that they both wield great power, but they learned in different ways. Like they learned in different ways to use it to protect. Like where Ky, he used to use his power and his strength and his skill to hunt down gears. He still has all that, but he's learned to use that to protect. And in that same vein, Dizzy has always wielded unimaginable power, but she's never used it to hurt anybody. But now she's essentially learned. This wraps back to our conversation about violence earlier. She's learned to use power and power and violence can be used to like protect the people who are close to you.
Yeah, and then also like embracing that part of herself too that gave her that power.
I think there's something you can add a lot to between narrative parallels between Ky and Dizzy, and it's that Ky for so long was stuck with being told what to fight for and being forced into religious orders, being forced to fight wars. I know he chose these, but he was also a young boy and he felt like he had no other option. And when he meets Dizzy and falls in love with her, he finally has something to fight for. And now for Dizzy, like, she has a place to return to. And something I really wanted to bring up, and I'm gonna bring it up now, and it's that Dizzy has one of the best arcade modes in the entire series in Exerd, where she has this very sweet, like, loving, like, married conversation with Ky.
Yes,
about
I love their arcade mode.
That in order to find a good life and to keep moving forward, you need to find you have to place a chair in your heart. You need to be able to sit down and be okay with yourself and feel safe. And she gives the same advice to Ky, who feels like all at once that he's growing up too fast, that he's carried on too much of a burden, that he's made too many enemies, and that he's fighting the world. Like, she's there to remind him, like, hey, what you are fighting for is to make yourself feel happy. If you can do what you think is right, that is enough. You made me feel okay and like this, and feel loved. I want to make sure you feel loved just as much. And like it shows so much that they are like equals.
Yeah.
I like Ky Dizzy.
Ky Dizzy is such Yuri.
You know what's like the ultimate display of Ky Dizzy for me?
What?
Strive's intro cutscene where Ky notices the scroll from Dizzy's excerpt intro and he smiles.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much.
And there's also too that Ky, whenever he gets knocked down in Strive, he's always saying, "Dizzy, Sin." Like I like that too.
Because he's fighting for his family. That's the reason why he fights now. It's
he never
beautiful.
once forgets them.
I feel like that's a very interesting thing about Dizzy is just how many connections she has to other characters. Like she
has connections to like Johnny and like May with like the pirates.
Yeah,
She has connections to
Valentine's.
Testament.
She has connections
the
to
Valentine's-
Bridget
yeah.
and Jam because Bridget gets the money from her bounty, and then Jam I think also gets the bounty in different ways.
And then also like apparently they're like friends in like Bridget's story mode. Ky's like, hey, I bet Bridget would love to see you again. Or, I bet Dizzy would love to see you again. And it's just like, oh my god, I need to see them interact, please.
I think Dizzy, as a trans woman, has a lot to connect with Bridget, a trans woman.
I feel like it's just kind of because Ky collects homeless queer people like Pokemon.
Yeah.
This is my home for misfits.
Keeping it going, I guess, with win quotes.
You have so many of these.
I
Yes,
just was looking at the win quotes.
I mean, the win quotes are good because it's the only time, at least in a lot of the old games, that like certain characters actually interact with each other.
Yeah, yeah. And I wanted to hit on her one for Axel, and especially for Dizzy. I feel like it's so good to look at win quotes because she doesn't really get to talk to a lot of people. But yeah, so she does tell Axel when she beats him that when you turn around at a dead end, the path that lays before you is not the path forward, which like really kind of like cool sage wisdom right there, but also deeply profound for both of their characters, where it's like, you know, history is still really important, and especially personal history, like we've been talking about this whole time with Dizzy and her relationship with Justice, and it gives us like context on our lives, but it also doesn't really define your present or your future. You know, you're again invoking those aspects of legacy and the individual power to overcome it for Guilty Gear, because Dizzy was being told by everyone in the world that she needed to become another Justice, or that she feared she would become that, but instead elected to kind of walk that back, still accept that part of herself, and recognize that she could live life not merely as like a daughter of Justice, but as Dizzy, as a mother, and as a unique person. So I thought that was pretty cool, and especially cool for Axel, obviously, who's very fixated for a while on his own past, and if it's all right for him to move on.
I just looked at my wins, and I have 2 wins, 27 losses.
It happens. It happens.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to say, no, do not apologize in the slightest. I'm having a great time.
Damn, lucky for you, I'm not playing.
Something I want to bring up too is that Sin, as her child, is such a good-natured boy. Like, he very much has all of her kindness and her sweetness, and that, like, what he gets from Sol his build, he gets from Ky his looks, his face, his motivation, and everything. But what Sin gets the most is from his mother, and Sin respects his mother above anyone else in his life, because he sees his mother as like this paragon of how to live and something to protect and something to love, because she was someone that was always there for him and understood him. Like, I think the fact that Dizzy is constantly portrayed as like, this is what the good morality is of our series, where it's like both embracing the good, the evil, and everything. Dizzy is the paragon of everything. And Sin recognizes that. That's really cool. I wish he had more of his mother's like facial features, or maybe even monsters aspect, but that's just nitpicking, I guess.
Maybe even half blue hair.
Whoa!
Also, I love Dizzy's pigtails. They're so pretty. I've never seen
She's
anything
so
like the
Miku.
double loop like that. It's so cool.
She's
I love
so
Hatsune
Miku.
Miku.
Okay, wait, true, yeah. But she has like the two loopy things too.
I love
Yeah.
Sin's-
'Cause
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's just like her hair is so long, she has to tie it back up around twice.
I
Pretty
really
much a
love her
Rapunzel
hair.
Disney.
However, whenever I post her on Tumblr, there's at least a good portion of tags that think that she's Hatsune Miku.
Really? No way!
Yeah, a lot of people will like tag it as Miku. And, like, I don't mind because I like Miku too. The hair loopies are what
Whatever.
separates them in like the hair design.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
had a big fighting game local that was entirely focused on Miku and like rhythm games.
My friend Kay once
That's
drew,
awesome.
drew like Dizzy and Miku's outfit, and it was really cool. I can't find it though.
Oh, I remember that artwork. I remember it a lot.
Yeah, like it was a fighting game tournament, but we had side tournaments for rhythm games, and like all of the songs were just Vocaloid.
I just realized why, if they want to make millions, I guess there's no money involved, but Idol Showdown should have a guest character Miku.
That'd be the only character I'm interested in playing.
That would make me play the game. That would get me to play the game,
That would get me
honestly.
to play. I don't care about VTubers, but Miku.
I don't know if they could pull in somebody so high profile. What if they got Mario? Somebody a bit lower profile.
This fucking
Mickey Mouse, maybe.
Just had Sol Badguy.
Oh, I wanted to ask this. What music do you think Dizzy listens to? And also, what are the songs you think of when you play Dizzy or want play as Dizzy or anything?
I feel like
My friend
this
actually,
question has an answer.
my friend brought up something when I drew Dizzy once in that one Daisuke artwork where she's with Kai and they're like looking through their records. And my friend commented like, "Oh, what is she listening to?" I'm like, "I'm not really sure." And he said, "Oh, her music taste must be completely messed up because she gets a little bit from everyone. Like she has Queen from Soul, and then Sin's Cocomelon music, and Kai's like church rock." And I actually
It's
thought that was so
classical.
fitting, and like that she would definitely her tastes would be made up of everyone who's around her.
I think this is the true answer.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't think we can
agree.
top this actually.
No, yeah, I was gonna say I don't
Johnny's
think
like
there's anything that
scumbag country music.
Yeah. I think
She's really
I
mad
think
if she
that's
listens to
actually like
Stray
it was a
Kids.
joke,
Mozart
but it
from
was so great.
Testament.
I feel like this is the kind of girl where when she's like washing dishes or walking about, she's always like humming and going like, and everyone just stops
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this is the Disney princess walking through. I just completely
Yeah.
mesmerized. Oh, I can't spectate anyone. That's weird.
Oh, because we weren't playing
Oh,
yet.
oh.
Oh.
I saw the OK
Oh, whoops.
status and I was like, what does this mean?
My bad. My ass was looking at Twitter.
You're good. You're good.
What website do you think Dizzy would use?
Oh no.
Twitter, because it's the one with the wings.
WordPress, Facebook,
Mario
AOL.
Kart Tour.
Pinterest.
I think she has a life. So
She would.
At
I feel
most
like
she
she would
plays
have some
like-
kind of. I feel like she would have some kind of like,
Lego
lifestyle blog.
app.
Oh my god,
Maybe.
yes!
All the different
Like-
food she's
like a
making for Sin.
Pinterest.
Yeah, Pinterest 100%.
Mm-hmm.
White mom got a white mom.
Yeah.
She has like one of those Angel Fire blogs. And
Oh
she
my
posts just about her
god.
family.
Oh, that's wonderful. She still has like all the
It's
crusty
just
ass
like a-
weird gifts.
Sin is
Yeah.
a newgrounds kid.
Like a GeoCities, but it's just
Yeah.
like, here's what I did today with my family.
Yeah.
If phones were real in Guilty Gear, I feel like Dizzy would be like, she has Bejeweled or Bejeweled clone on her phone, and she's got like an absurdly high score on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's a Candy
Oh, she's a
Crush.
Candy
a
Crush
Candy
mom.
Crush
Yeah,
Disney
she's,
for fidget scams?
she's totally a Candy Crush mom.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Semi-related. Do y'all think Sin is a newgrounds kid?
No.
Oh.
I think that was before
think-
his time.
I think
Yeah,
it'd
I
be a
think
little
that
too
was the
edgy
first
for
time
him too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He's too nice and kind for that.
He loves
Okay,
Skibbity Toilet.
Oh no.
I have no problem
No.
saying this.
Do you think Sin or Ramblethal is the Homestar Runner kin?
Ooh, that's a good one. I can't say it.
I'm gonna go with Sin, probably.
I don't like
Ram
the
hits me like a
implication.
Ruby girl.
I could see that. I could very
Have you
easily see
guys
that.
seen all the comics? Alright, maybe I'm only just thinking, what the fuck is that?
Oh my god, footsies.
I've seen numerous comics though where it's like Sin is doing something very what's it called? No, trendy and hippie. Like, I can't speak. Where it's like, oh, he's smoking weed and stuff, and then Kai's like, what the hell are you doing? No son of mine would do this. And then he walks over and Dizzy's also just smoking a blunt. Like, I think Dizzy would absolutely be a cool mom.
Okay, like Dizzy lived in the forest. There's no way she doesn't smoke a little bit.
Yes, yes.
Come on.
Most mentally sane soul player.
Also, like I was clashing with DI/DP right there. That was dangerous for me.
I just realized she has her father's ponytail. Aww.
Is it detachable like his?
Stop! Don't tell me that. I know it. I know that's real, but I don't want to know.
I feel like it got retconned away that it's not like that anymore.
It's detachable?
There is some old art of him by Daisuke without the headband on, and he has no ponytail. And it is just like how it appears in the ending of Guilty Gear 1, which some people thought was a mistake, but judging by that art that Daisuke drew, I'm not entirely sure if it was. However, there are other times that we see him without the without the headband on, such as like in Order Souls, Dragon installs Sakai, and he does have long hair, and it actually, I do believe it gets slightly longer even.
Bork, you said that with like such a sadness in your voice. I don't know why I thought of this, but it made me think of like the fucking SpongeBob movie where it's like they have the fake mustache and they're just like,
This is some cursed knowledge. This belongs in like the depths of the Guilty Gear iceberg.
Yo, it's almost 2 a.m. and I'm 100% sure
the public can't know about this. The public cannot know about this information.
Would Dizzy fall for a phishing scam?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
look,
I think that she would just want to help,
I think the first time, and then like she'd be like a little bit more wary of it.
You click onto her Facebook profile and it is just those fucking chain posts that are like, if like share this to 10 people.
Oh no, I don't want to believe that.
The thing is, I feel like it's shared this to some to brighten someone's day rather than like share this or else you will die.
Oh, she posts minion memes. She posts minion memes.
Oh my god, yes.
Husband Ky, look, a Nigerian prince wishes to grant us $1 million as long as
I feel like Dizzy would fall for the thing where it's like somebody pretending to be a relative who's in prison that needs money.
Hello, I am Ky Kiske, your
Some
husband.
of that guy is in prison.
I wound up here again somehow, and I need $3 million world dollars.
Honestly, that is kind of just like the intro of like the side, just like, hey, how much are you? $1 million.
Yeah, like it's believable. It's something that could have happened before.
I need 7 world Bitcoin.
How do they have Bitcoin with no technology? They have magic Bitcoin.
Magic coin.
Not even their free from it.
Alright, and her Seiyu. I think she sounds very awesome in Japanese, where she's doing all of her yelps and screams. I saw a bunch of YouTube comments saying that she sounds very sexual, and I have no comment on this, but...
She sounds... I feel like she sounds scared more than anything.
Yeah. And she actually had an English voice role in Sign, but she only got to say like 3 lines, and it's uncredited too, so we don't know who did it, but I really liked it.
Damn. I don't think I've heard that. I need to look that up.
I'm
really excited because if she gets into Strive, I was talking with Jay about this earlier, Kira Buckland has been saying for the longest time that she really, really, really wants to do Dizzy, and if they ever get her in, she needs to be on that.
I hope so.
Please.
I hope so.
So hopefully within 3 weeks we hear Kira Buckland Dizzy.
There is a chance.
I wonder who else else could do her well, though?
Me.
Yeah,
No.
this is Melly. I think now's the time. They've had Melly on the docket for a lot of characters, but I think this is the one.
Well, but then who's gonna voice me when they put me in?
That is true. They're just gonna have to get you back. Yeah.
They're gonna get
Melly,
It's
your
order
best
Melly.
non-Melly voice.
my best non-Melly voice.
They bring in Order Melly from the past.
Oh, that's what it is.
No, no, her voice. No, don't do
Back
that.
when you were almost corrupted by the Dark Blade.
Back when I was Koi Fish Gaming and we did gaming challenges.
That's
that
so
shit was
awesome.
crazy.
If the roles were swapped and Dizzy was in the Holy Order and Ky was the princess that she's going to see, I would really think that'd be super cool. And also, I bet her belt would say something like "love."
Oh, I
Excuse you,
would.
Kai is a princess.
That is also true. That is also true.
It could. I feel like if she was in the Holy Order, her belt buckle might say something just like forgiveness.
I think that,
Or
yeah,
like,
that's yeah.
Honestly,
See,
Hope kind of fits still.
I love.
It does kind of fit.
It does, for sure. But, I think...
Oh my goodness,
I just
this
love
is
thinking
under
of...
pressure.
I love thinking of, like, what they would wear if they were all in the Holy Order. I've gotten ones for, Cliff even, because his doesn't have one. In my design of him, I wrote it Save Valor, because I'm like, no, that's Cliff.
Yeah,
there
I
any
think
art of,
that's
like,
really
Cliff?
cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
like,
he's
officially.
still wearing the same thing. Yeah, there's plenty of official art of young Cliff.
Mhm.
And boy, do I want him.
You are not gonna come onto my Dizzy podcast and say you want Cliff.
I want Dizzy too.
Was there a Cliff episode?
There will be. I go alphabetically, and right now we're on the D's.
I
So next
want
episode,
Luigi.
I'm really excited.
Dr.
It's
Baldhead.
but next episode's gonna be Eddie, which is super fun.
Eddie. Okay.
Eddie.
Honestly, I wasn't sure if you were going to do a Baldhead one, because I know you did a Bedman one. So,
Well,
I
I
don't
just
know.
wrapped up Bedman with Delilah. but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want Mario Party 6 to be playable in Stride.
I also want this. I
It's just-
don't know how
It's just
you're
the
like.
box art.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
sick.
just kind of wanted Mario Party 6 specifically. It was one of my favorite Mario
Yo,
parties. I
huge
just want this
Nintendo
vibe.
DS would be a great playable character if they could get huge Nintendo DS.
You'll take your Strive on the Game Boy Advance.
I can't wait, guys. In a few weeks, they're going to be revealing
No, Guilty Gear
Qbert.
X on the Game Boy Advance.
Wow.
Oh wait, really? Yeah.
Yeah, that game was fucked up and evil, and it was so fucking
Could it
dark.
I know, I can only
Could
imagine.
Potemkin Air Dash in that game?
I'm not sure, but Potemkin could do fucking everyone could do fucking anything. Potemkin could walk on air in that game. Like,
But yeah, I think we're running out of topics to talk about, so I'm gonna move into the conclusive part of the podcast. Are there any final things you guys have to say about Dizzy?
I love her.
I love
She's
Woody.
cool.
She's so pretty.
She's so
She's wonderful. She's
I love her red
gorgeous.
eyes,
Look at her.
She's
Mhm.
so
I love her
gender.
eyes.
Y'all agree she's so gender?
She
Yes.
is.
Absolutely.
She's
Yeah.
immensely.
Mm-hmm.
She is
Mhm.
hashtag
100%. She is
Yes.
so girl.
I have.
Whenever I talk to Jay about Sonic, I'm always like, wow, Sonic, he's so fast and blue. But for Dizzy, I think I'd be like, wow, Dizzy, she's so girl in blue.
Yeah,
I
she's
do
so
not want to
girl.
know what you say about Devil Jin.
I
It's-
can't speak.
The haters will sabotage him.
Talk to me about Devil Jin.
I'm under contract to not disclose our conversations about Jin or Devil Jin.
Understood.
But we
Can I
can
just say
disclose
something?
our conversations about Super Monkey Ball 2 for the Nintendo game.
Yes. For Super Monkey Ball 2, II is going to be the next character in Guilty Gear.
Yo.
I have one more.
Good night,
He
everybody.
actually dies at the end of Banana Mania.
He dies?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I would have believed you. Like Dr. Bad Boon just drops him into a volcano, and the ball opens, and he's like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
why,
Baby grows up, and Baby's gonna be the character.
Yeah. Baby's the
I
new
was
son.
thinking of Dizzy playing video games, and I was like, oh, I bet Necro and Undyne hold the controller for her. But then I just ended up thinking, oh, what if Dizzy went to the mall and she went shopping, and Necro and Undyne hold her wallet?
I've seen
bags, yeah.
I've seen art of that, of like Dizzy going to the mall and like Necro and Undyne are like holding all her bags, and like Necro's got sunglasses on, and like it's so
I'm
cute.
so glad someone's made my vision then. That makes
That's
me so happy.
wonderful.
That was exactly what I was thinking of.
If I can find it, I'll send it to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, this is unrelated. I wanted to say it earlier, but EX Dizzy, she's got Michael's sword, and I think that's cool.
That is sick. That is really, really cool.
Oh, there was one other aspect I wanted to bring up. What does she do special as a boss character? I'm not actually sure what she does as a boss character.
Oh my god!
Damage.
So, yeah, just damage and shit. But she also has a unique super move that changes depending on their proximity. It's like she just starts like she gets like a big headache, falls to her knees, and then like blows up in this huge like pillar of light. And it, like depending on what it is, it's like either the pillar of light hurts or it like shoots a bunch of like rays outward. And it uses I believe it uses a sprite from her intro, like where she's transforming. But that sprite is also a modified version of that sprite is Injustice's sprite set.
Really?
Just without the wings, and it has like normal hair, and I'm led to believe that maybe that's meant to be Arya, but I'm not sure that shows up anywhere in the game. If it does, please let me know. I really want to know.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
But yeah, it's
Leave it in the comments
it's
below.
super cool.
Oh, you're so cool.
Leave
and
it
smart.
in the comments below.
And with that, thank you all for joining me on the Dizzy podcast. It was an absolute delight to talk to you all about a very special girl and her very
Thanks for
cool powers and her cool wings and her cool demon and angel awesomeness.
And her
everything
cool
else.
wife.
Damn,
I
thank you
think
so much,
all
guys.
she is one of the best themes in all of X.
Oh
so-
my god, it's
Correct!
I just thinking like all of Tiny. It's so good.
I think the X version is better, but the XX version is still pretty good.
And I really hope that everything we say in this podcast is either confirmed or denied in 3 weeks when she drops into Guilty Gear Strive. But
That's like one of the main
Please,
reasons I want her back
please.
is just to have all of she in the game.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
really-
god, dude. I've been fishing for Juno for years. I can't fucking get it. Juno's like one of my favorite songs in Guilty Gear. I can't fucking get it,
My
dude.
God.
You're evidently
One
not
last
running out of
thing.
themes.
one last thing. When does he drops into the Strive Arcade, who do you think her partner will be? Because
Kai.
it's not going to
Probably
be Dizzy.
Kai.
Sorry, it's not going to be Kai, because that would make too much sense. It's got to be like...
What if it was Soul?
May.
What if it was Soul and the
May.
boss was Kai?
Melee,
What if it was
melee,
Kai and the boss was Soul? And then we get a Dragon Install Soul boss. I don't know.
What if it's,
I'm-
what if it's just like
Melee,
Testament. Milia would be nice.
Milia or
Testament,
Testament, I think, would be really
good.
cool.
Johnny, maybe.
Johnny would be so fun. Or
Give
May,
me
yeah.
Or May, yeah. Bridget.
Bridget would be fun.
Fucking,
A
because
lot of characters.
they talked
I
about
say-
that in Bridget's arcade mode. It could be like, I don't know, whatever.
My
I love
guess
Bridget
is,
Dizzy.
It's got to be something stupid. It's got to be like Dizzy and Leo, and Leo's trying to help her like plan for her wedding or something.
Yeah. He's trying to help her mine Bitcoin.
yeah, it's gonna be. Can we please just get boss Eno? It's all
My
I want.
magic coin.
I know,
that'd be
that
so
would be so
insane.
sick. I'd
I
love to
was
see that.
I was so disappointed when Eno was first announced for Strive, and they showed. That's when they showed like the 2-on-1. Yeah. And it was like Sol versus Sol and Kai versus Eno. I was like, oh cool, Eno's gonna be the boss. And then it was Nago, and I was like, oh, well, where's my Eno boss fight? I want to fight Eno.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, 3v3 mode, which is also going to drop with Dizzy, who has 3 selves with Necro
Necro and
Undyne.
Undyne are separate characters.
Wait,
Not delusional,
but then it
it'll
could be
happen.
9v9. Holy moly.
Oh.
But yeah, that's the end of the episode. Bye!
Bye.
This was epic sauce.